Right, so a video that I didn't want to have to make, but unfortunately I do have to make this video. So at about 1:30 this afternoon, the New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, announced that in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, we're all getting ready for lockdown in about 2 days' time. Great, right, so there's currently 102 cases of COVID-19 here in New Zealand. Now I know that compared to Italy, China, the US, that's bugger all by comparison. But just thinking about it though, this time last week, so I'm filming this on Monday, the 23rd of March, this time last week we only had around 20 odd cases. We've gone from 20 to 102 in a week. That's a huge amount of growth. And if we do nothing, if we were to carry on doing nothing, then by this time next week, 100 could easily become 200, and then 3, and then 4. So we're in a position where we've only got 102 cases, so direct action, serious action, is being taken now so that we can contain this the best we can before it gets out of control, rather than waiting till it actually does. Because they're seeing what's happening in other countries around the world who waited until the last possible moment to start locking stuff down, and they've decided that they don't want to chance that. If COVID-19 gets out of control in NZ, you're talking putting tens of thousands of lives at risk, possibly hundreds of thousands. New Zealand may be a small country, but there's over 4.5 million people live here, and I think New Zealand civilization is by nature a very sociable society. You know, sorry about the noise, but it's pissing it down outside, and the fan's on. We live in a very sociable society in New Zealand. People like hanging out with one another. They like seeing their mates. They like going out to restaurants and dinner. People like going out. I mean, I love going out. Okay, I run a YouTube channel where I film stuff out and about in the world. So I like being out and about. I don't like being cooped up at home, but I'm going to have to be now for the next 4 weeks. So you're talking putting hundreds of thousands of lives at risk here, and if COVID-19 gets out of control in NZ, it could end up being the biggest loss of life that this country has ever seen, because currently the highest loss of life in any single event in New Zealand history right now is the Mount Erebus plane crash in 1978, I think that was, where 257 lost their lives, and closely followed by the 256 who died in the Christchurch earthquakes in 2011. And yeah, so the measures are being taken now to try and contain this the best they can, and at the end of the day you can't argue with them. I mean, we don't want to end up like Australia, or well, I mean, this is New Zealand, we never want to end up like Australia, but you know what I mean. We don't want to end up in a situation where it's out of control and then there's nothing we can do about it. So what does this mean for my YouTube channel? Well, it basically means that bus filming, bus photography, lift filming, level crossings, car wash videos, the lot are all off the cards for the next 4 weeks. This is the Prime Minister announced that this lockdown they're bringing in a couple of days' time, basically, or it's already starting, is basically going to last for the next 4 weeks, possibly longer if things don't improve. So yeah, now in the meantime I'm going to try and get some new content out, if I can, not out and about. I haven't got anything in my backlog unfortunately, but if I can do compilations or anything else, then we'll see what we can do. There are some things that will complicate that. Firstly, my dad's working from home, so he's using the big monitor and the big mouse and the big keyboard whilst he's working, so I've only got access to that at the weekends and in the evening. I can still use my own laptop, but it's not as nice to sit and edit things on that because the screen's much smaller. So but I'll see what I can do. Oh dear, it's been a busy and tiring day. The other thing is work. Now, I have 2 volunteer jobs, both of which are now on hold. I won't be doing either of them. But I've just signed a contract to start a casual paid job with a wholesale foods distributor who I'm not at liberty to name. And obviously supermarket chains and service stations, etc., etc., are going to be remaining open during this lockdown because they're an essential service. So this casual job I've got may well also see me going into work on some days because the supermarkets are an essential service, and so the wholesale food distributors are also an essential service because they're the ones supplying the supermarkets with their stock. And if you've read the news recently, you'll know exactly how vital that is right now. So I've no idea when I'm going to be working. I'm a casual worker, so I just get texted or phoned up saying, can you come in and work, and then I say yes. So I've no idea how often I'm going to work or when, but that's another thing that's going to potentially delay any videos I make out. But basically that's all I can say, is that new videos are basically on hold until further notice, and it pains me to have to announce that, but there's not really anything I can do about it. It's in the interests of my own safety and the interests of public safety. Honestly, if the opportunity over the next few weeks comes up to film anything, then I will try. But to be quite honest, I don't think that that's really going to happen. So that's all there really is to say. I mean, I don't want to sit here and drone on for bloody 20 minutes or whatever, because, you know, but it's unfortunate, but that's the way it's got to be. And all I can say is I'll see you on the other side when all of this is over. Bloody hell, it really is chucking it down out there now. Yeah, all I can say, guys, is I'll see you on the other side. Sorry.